2023 was a season utterly dominated by Max Verstappen and Red Bull. This dominance would not have been possible if not for the perfect car, the RB19. The competition, therefore, knows they need to improve their game for 2024, which makes the upcoming winter development much more pivotal for almost every team on the grid. Teams, therefore, are making massive overhauls for their 2024 cars, and I'll give you all the information about the top 4 changes in today's video. Let's start this video with Mercedes. The Silver Arrows have sealed second place in the Constructor Championship, beating Ferrari by just 3 points. But the second half of 2023 did not go according to the team's plans. The lowest point of this season for Mercedes came at Brazil, where only one car finished the race, that also down at P8. The following races at Las Vegas and Abu Dhabi were better than Brazil but still disappointing, considering the overall results. What makes this painful is the fact that these 3 disappointing outings were followed by 2 successful races at Austin and Mexico with the upgraded floor. The Brackley-based squad started to work on its 2024 car early on in the season, as it was clear that the W14 did not hit the team-set targets right from the offset at Bahrain. Back at Brazil, Toto Wolff was questioned if the below-par performance was a confidence breaker or if it was an eye-opener for the team, for which the Austrian replied, "No, I think more confirmed that the steps that we did are necessary." Today was clearly a very poor performance. The car is clearly on a knife edge the whole time, and we need to ensure we develop that out of the car for next year. James Allison always talked about the team needing to learn as much as they can from the W14 to carry over that knowledge to the W15. But the inconsistencies shown by the W14 at Abu Dhabi, Las Vegas, and Brazil just confirm the fact that the W15 needs an entire car overhauling. Both the W13 and the W14 posed many problems, and the team trying to solve those problems were unsuccessful up to a mark in that task, showcasing their lack of depth and knowledge on what they are trying to fix firsthand. George Russell has taken this as a positive and mentioned that his team has examined this setback and has understood the core of every single problem within the W14. The Brit also mentioned that 2024 will be a good year if his team is able to get on top of those uncovered problems. One question remains unanswered: how are the Silver Arrows planning to turn the W15 into a championship contender? Well, George talked about this part as well. According to George, his team is having changes being made to how the hierarchy back at the factory work. Ensuring better communication is involved in every single decision made regarding the W15's development. The Brit mentioned that this one change will be a big improvement, as he believes rushed decision-making was what led to the creation of the W13 and the W14. Mercedes is a large machine which has a lot of moving parts. Back in the day of dominance, Christian Horner used to call the Mercedes team a well-oiled machine, but over time the parts have fallen out of sync, which is bound to happen at some point in time. To stop rushed decisions being made, which inevitably turned out to be the wrong ones, Mercedes are spending more time working together. Inter-team communication is made a priority, so a decision won't be made without the approval of every department back at Brackley and Brixworth. When asked about how the prospects for 2024 are shaping up back at the factories, Toto Wolff went on to say, "The fight for P2 in the constructors in a way was so positive for us and a huge reward for the whole team to be vice-champion, but it's also a big motivation to do better next year, and that's what we will focus on now. We have so much good things in the pipeline, so much new things, and with all the learning we had, I am really in a good place to see what's coming together." Mercedes is not the only big name to suffer defeat by the hands of Max Verstappen and Red Bull. If anything, Ferrari will be in much more pain than Mercedes is at the moment. Back in 2022, Ferrari had a fast car on their hands and was assumed to be the championship winners in the 2022 season, but the prancing horses were well outdeveloped by Red Bull in 2022. And despite being the only team to secure a win other than Red Bull in 2023, they will be mightily disappointed first to not have been on par with Red Bull and Verstappen in terms of performance, second not being able to secure second place in the constructor standings. P2 or P3 in the championship doesn't matter to either Mercedes or Ferrari, and since the last championship the Scuderia won was back at 2008, they will be aiming at this upcoming winter to make performance leaps for its next year's car. Charles Leclerc talked about the 2024 Ferrari, mentioning that it will be a lot different to the SF23, and also mentioned that learnings from the SF23 is shaping the 2024 Ferrari into a competitive machinery. First of all, the 2024 project is very different to the car we have this year, and with everything we've learned so far, it reaffirms that it's a good choice what we've gone for next year. Ferrari have been one of those teams introducing lots of upgrades this season. Upgrades after the summer break mostly focused on shaping the team's 2024 car. Next year's Ferrari car, codenamed Project 676, according to reports, will take a lot of inspiration from the Red Bull RB9. Media outlets very close to the Italian racing stable, reliable ones as well, has reported on Ferrari making design choices for its 2024 car inspired by Red Bull but will have its own innovations as well. Ferrari introduced a floor upgrade at Austria, followed by more upgrades introduced at Japan. Both these upgrade packages worked in sync and confirmed the team on which direction to focus for Project 676's development. Every decision Ferrari has made since the summer break has been focused on 2024, and Ferrari believe that going Red Bull's way is the best way to be competitive in this current period of regulations. So, Ferrari's choice, unlike Mercedes, to exactly follow on what Red Bull is doing, with extra Ferrari innovations, seems to be definitely the right development plan for the upcoming winter. While following Red Bull's trajectory is Ferrari's path for 2024, McLaren made that decision in 2023 itself, and it worked to great effect. McLaren, at the start of 2023, were more than a second off the pace, as it was apparent that the Woking-based squad missed its development targets for 2023. But the Red Bull-inspired upgrades fitted onto the McLaren car mid-season transformed McLaren's season, allowing them to finish P4 in the constructors' standings ahead of Aston Martin. Being early adopters of the favored Red Bull aerodynamic direction gives McLaren the advantage moving into the winter break, whereas rivals like Ferrari and Mercedes have big overhauls planned for the 2024 season. Andrea Stella, team principal of McLaren, believes the same, as he went on to say, "In fairness, where you are with next year's car partly depends on where you are this year, because that's the starting point pretty much for everyone." While all this is happening, Red Bull are not going to be stationary. Even at Abu Dhabi, the Austrian squad had a sizable gap towards the rest of the field on both qualifying and race trim. Still, with that performance advantage, Adrian Newey and his team are working on a brand new car for 2024, one with a lot more potential, according to latest sources. It would be wrong of us to just leave it alone because our opposition is getting a bit closer, Red Bull chief engineer Paul Monahan said. But the rules are quite tight compared to what we've had in previous years and with previous generations of car, where we could do a little bit more and move things around. It perhaps wouldn't surprise you if I said it will be an evolution of the current car, as it will be a bit foolish to throw this concept away, but equally, we've got to make some progress. We've got to find some lap time. The opposition is on us, and if they do a step, then we better have a bigger step. Former F1 team boss Eddie Jordan revealed a conversation he had with Adrian Newey recently, as he revealed the team's plans for 2024. Adrian feels that the evolution of what they've got at the moment is going to be so difficult for anyone to catch up with. So, folks out there, please prepare yourself for a boring time or an exciting time, depending on whether you are a Red Bull fan next year. It would be foolish to expect Red Bull to not make a sizable jump in terms of performance come 2024. 2 years into these regulations set, Red Bull are purely dominating currently. But with top teams making major overhauls to their 2024 cars, what are your expectations for 2024? Can any team make an impact with their 2024 cars to make for a spicy championship battle? Very much into your thoughts and perspectives in the comments section down below, and on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads to keep yourselves up to date about the 2023 Formula 1 season.